Rack and Roll, Shadows of Centris. All three men had met up together before heading to the intelligence division, not only for the sake that they were all required to be there, but, well, to be frank, after some of the rumors about Madame Stepanova, they wanted to present a unified front. An old-school Russian interrogator? Good grief. The door is opened for them by a young man, a very young man. Not really more than a child, to be honest. But it's not Herbert. It's some baby-faced Chinese boy. Then a much, much older voice interrupts, "Private Wong, let them in." "Yes, Madame Stepanova," he says, gesturing for them to follow. He leads them in past where numerous men and women are working hard to correlate data and add things together in large files. Then from seemingly nowhere, an ancient woman, nearly bent in two and leaning on a cane, is among them. She says nothing as she walks ahead at a clip far faster than her stooped posture would indicate. "I am Madame Stepanova. You will address me as Madame Stepanova. As you have no doubt heard, I am one of the officers sent from Earth to verify the information packets that have been received from the Dauntless. To my understanding, they are absurd, insane, insulting, and completely accurate. You three have come up more than once as individuals with a penchant for finding oddities. Now, whether it is because they come to you or you go to them is up for debate, as your behavior has, for the most part, been fairly inoffensive and understandable. Adagok's outright seduction of a warren of rabbis notwithstanding. In all fairness, I did what many men would do when presented with a..." Amadi trails off as Madame Stepanova turns around and affixes him a glare for interrupting. He quiets down. "You three have been an improvised but moderately effective information-gathering unit and have given us a fairly comprehensive view of Centris life just below the surface. However, as displayed yesterday, you have not gone unnoticed," she says, leading them into a back room. Two more children await them. Neither could be older than 13. "What's with the kids? What's going on?" Reggie asks, positive that these are not children at all. "That is classified at the moment, but suffice to say, you have already seen the advantages. Silent, a fair nickname for our newest squadron," Madame Stepanova says, taking her seat. "Sit." They sit and she sniffs at them. "You three are simultaneously an advantage and a liability, however. Since I'm not here to train researchers, general troopers, or technicians, I can only offer critique, not force you buffoons to smarten up and straighten out. If it were up to me, I'd have you go through at the least advanced information dissemination and obfuscation training. Madame Stepanova, we have been called here following an attack that was just barely averted by one of your silent squadron. We have discovered the Trine Lin symbol on our attacker, requesting clarification." "Have you taken time to understand the Trine Lin symbol?" Madame Stepanova asks dismissively. "Yes. My father-in-law Garos is a university professor specializing in philosophy. It comes up often in his courses." Koa states, and she nods. "Excellent. Then you don't need further clarification to its history or how it's often perverted as a symbol of absolute order and an excuse to engage in both murder and terrorism," Madame Stepanova asks, and there are nods. "Good. To what end is it perverted this time, Madame Stepanova?" Amadi asks, mildly amused despite himself. "Don't take that tone with me, boy." She snaps at him before taking a breath. "However, to answer your question, they are insulted that we humans do not fit the axiom portion of their little holy trinity. This was going to be effectively a snuff film to be sold by those that take offense at the idea that axiom causes a lack of men." "Does it?" Reggie asks. "Stop interrupting." She snaps before giving them all a glare. Now, this small group appears to have acted independently of a larger organization that, while unfriendly, has not acted untoward us in any official capacity. "This was a small initiative taken by lower-ranking members," she says, and then rakes her gaze over the men, daring them to pipe up. No one takes the bait. This group, as you can surmise, is about to take action against us. However, HFY ovci, kot shirsti clock. Not the best situation, but we shall use it to grow stronger. Madame Stepanova, what does that mean? From a scabby sheep, at least a flock of wool, meaning that it's better to get something rather than nothing from what is about to happen. We are about to be acted upon, and so we shall use this as a training opportunity. Madame Stepanova explains and then smiles at them. So I would like to congratulate you all, you have been promoted to bait. What form of bait? Sacrificial or? Koa asks, and none of them flinch when Madame Stepanova glares at him. We are not fools, you overgrown child. We have a limit of men, making soldiers among our most precious resources. You will be issued low-profile armor and energy shields, and during the entire affair, you will be followed by the Silent to assure both your safety and their training. Madame Stepanova snaps. Where and when, ma'am? Reggie asks, knowing it was the only thing that could be asked without upsetting the angry old woman. Soon enough. We're still extracting the information from the more stupid ones. They don't really understand what's being asked of them of times, she says with a slight sigh. Dismissed. The three men found themselves walking under the dimmed evening lights of Aspire's mid-level. Galana Aspire is apparently one known for dimmer light. The plants that grow on its agricultural portions are more evening and morning ones. All three men were weighed down quite a bit with the experimental but effective armor on their persons. A combination of compressed storage and alignment markings in Kutha. The alloy and ceramic armor was a light blue under their clothing, tri-tight to help resist axiom effects. The markings of enhancement were under the uppermost layer. A few seconds of extra life, time enough to kill anyone that was using an axiom effect. The fact that they're acting as bait is enough to set all three men on edge and uncertain if a random shadow is just a patch of darkness or another opponent. Relax, Reggie outright states at the other two men. He was the calmest of the three, the result of a lifetime looking misfortune and death right in the face. Tensing up will only make things worse. Some lunatic could introduce themselves by launching a grenade at us at any moment. How can I relax? Amadi demands, and Reggie sighs. Then Amadi takes a deep breath and seems to calm himself. But we've been through worse. Anticipating a problem can be worse than the problem itself. Very true, Koa says, taking the lead as they continue to walk. Then there's a screech from above and all three men trigger the armor to unfold. From under their collars, a full helmet with mask stretches out and gives them complete safety, even as gauntlets climb over their already moving hands. Koa withdraws his massive gun. Amadi quickly has a grenade launcher out, and Reggie takes a few moments to get his long gun fully assembled. They hit the wall of the alleyway to thin out their profile and prevent someone from sneaking up on them as easily. As this happens, their personal shield devices fully activate and a glowing blue aura emanates from each of them before fading from the visible spectrum, but is screamingly obvious from the axiom perspective. Sonir and Metak, gray face masks all, Reggie says as he follows a few in his scope. Surrender, you putrescent piles of filth. You will not take those who have done you no harm. A deep, feminine voice bellows out from above. To us humans, we shall shield you from the cruel and wretched. Wrong fish, Amadi notes incredulously. The conspiracies are tripping over each other, Koa notes. Again, Reggie adds as he leans out to look at them. Then again, it could be a trick. If it is a trick, then walk into it. The Silent are still nearby, Madame Stepanova says into their comms. It was a clever bit of engineering to make it so that an integrated headset was part of the helmet. The mostly unblooded and untested Silent are nearby, Koa grumps. They also have a much more experienced and a frustratingly competent commander, Madame Stepanova says tartly. All right, moving out, Koa says, rushing out and towards where the Sanir had bid them. It would have to be a Sanir. The Metak are too small to have voices as deep and as husky as the one that had called to them. They rush down the alleyway, and there's movement above as they grow closer. No humans! This way! They are luring you into a trap! A voice from the other direction calls out. Oh, for the love of... Koa grunts, and Amadi can't help but chuckle at the absurdity. Things were becoming a clusterfuck at a dead sprint. Pits debts. Madame Stepanova grunts. Continue to the first one that called out to you. My silent are nearby to bail you out if hostile, if their friendly start asking questions. Confirmed, Koa states. Let's move. Wretched infiltrators of our wondrous way of life. Some new screaming begins from another direction entirely as Koa leads the way towards the first voice that had called to them. Thank goodness you've come, humans. Conspiracy is all around you with horrible women trying to undo you from all sides, a Sonir says, diving down from above. We need to get you out of here. Our former sisters are near feral with madness. Can we please have an explanation? Reggie demands the masked woman. There will be. Come with me, she says, rushing away on all fours. She rushes down the alleyway as the sky above them suddenly ignites into lasers and plasma as all three sides above them suddenly erupt into violence. A door is opened before her and she leads them inside. It's slammed behind them and the lights suddenly go out. She lets out an ominous laugh. Oh, you foolish little... Whatever she's about to say is suddenly cut off. The lights come back on and it shows that Reggie has stuck his pistol into her open mouth. Why? She asks around the muzzle of the gun in a heartbroken tone. You were just about to announce that we were fools to trust you, weren't you? Reggie asks. No, fools for being in public with so many girls wanting you hurt around here. She says very carefully around the weapon. It's pulled away. Full body armor, energy shields, weapons for days, your bait, hardened bait. Yes, Koa says tersely. Who are you? What's going on? Follow me. There are many organizations on Centris that operate from the shadows. The legal procession of the galaxy, the council, and the will of the people takes so long to get things done that by the time a resolution has passed, the individuals involved are usually long dead. There are archaeologists quicker to the crime scene than there are timely resolutions from the council. She explains, clambering down the stairs a little ahead of them. I see. So, this is normal? Koa asks, knowing the answer. They reach the bottom and she taps on a wall which opens up to reveal a hidden hallway. Yes, and you humans are in an enormous amount of danger. Not that you seem ignorant of it. What with the armor and weapons you have on yourself at all times? Or is it more of a cultural thing? I'm not sure with your kind. A little of number one, a little of number two. We're a more military branch of our species, so we usually have weapons on us at all times. But when we feel unsafe, munitions and armor are what we often use to calm down. Koa answers even as Amadi taps him on the shoulder and gestures behind them. He looks back and catches a flicker of someone that seems to be more a shadow than a person. One of the silent is with them. Good. Time to get some answers beyond the screamingly obvious.